welcome to the next edition of H. Paul Models. Following on from the Liberator and the USAAF ground vehicles, I'm going to finish off the diorama with these Hellerman US Air Force personnel. Got these from eBay, reasonable price, brilliant seller. So yeah, I've had a look at them, and yeah, they look alright actually, very well detailed. So yeah, we all know my history of painting figures. So let's crack on. So I've picked out my gang of likely lads. This one, interestingly, appears to be laying on his back. So I think in the RAF Bomber Command resupply set there's a scaffold. So I might have to have him on a scaffold fixing an engine or an undercarriage or something. So yeah, and his little mate here can be walking up going, "You don't do it like that." So yeah, I'm going to crack on with it. I've got some flesh paint that I've bought. I'm just going to grab that, have a rummage, and I'll find it. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Hello Dark Flesh. I've got my mix, but I think this, I'm going to try this, see what it does. So first thing to do is tie the figures up, and then I'm going to paint their faces, hands, arms, whatever needs to be done, and then we can start doing the uniforms. I've got this set of fine brushes from Temu, about £5. Very cheap. I know there's probably better makes on the market, but that'll do me. So I'm trying this for Hello paint, for Jello, for Hello. Let's give him a bit of skin tone. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Always dries darker, doesn't it? So doesn't look too bad actually. I'm impressed with it. Let's give his arm a bit of a going over. Just do another arm. I'm holding my breath while I'm painting. I don't know if I'm going to pass out in front of the camera. Oh dear. That's it. Yeah, I think that's come out alright actually. Oh, I just a mould line. Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's not too bad at all actually. So I'm going to get on with the rest, and then I'll show you how things have gone after that. So I've painted all the skin tones. Now I've got to do, I think, a blank canvas uniform, olive drab or something. I'll look at the instructions and find out what that is. So I'll get on doing that next. So looking at the instructions on the box for painting, looking at all these colours and codes and whatnot, it looks as though the uniform's going to be a dark brown, and that suspiciously looks like 29 Humbrol brown. But I'm going to have a little rummage around my box and see what I can find. I've got an app on my phone which is really good, and I'll do a demonstration on that next. So from the Google Play Store I downloaded an app called Hobby Colour Converter. I don't know if that's on iPhone or not, I haven't got a clue. But if I hit that palette, it brings up all the different colours you can get, or most of them anyway. So there's Humbrol, and you get a choice of enamel, acrylic, rail colour, auxiliaries, acrylic dropper. Obviously to me, acrylic droppers is the one I use the most, so there's all the colours there. I'll get rid of that lot. There's all the colours there, which I've got most of them, hopefully. So if we look at the back of the box, in the previous shot it's got Hella or Revel codes. So if I go, see if I can find Hella, it's not listed, so I'll try Revel. There's Revel. We want Aqua, which is acrylic paints, and we're looking for the little code, the 2 numbers at the end, I believe it is. So we'll look at number 8 first, which is black matte. Well, that's going to be 33 all day long. So on the box, piece of pencil, I'll just write 33. And that I think is going to be for the guns, boots, that sort of thing. Now the next colour we want is 53, so we go for 53 if it's here. Revel code 53. And it's not, so I'm going to have to make that one up, I think. Yeah, I can't see a 53. And so on and so forth anyway, till I get all the colours that I want. That's how I convert from other manufacturers to Humbrol colours, which is the one I use the most in all my model making because of the Airfix club points and whatnot. So I've got my 3 paints sorted, 33 for black, 117 for US dark green, and 29 for the beigey brown colour. Some pots the paint's usable, 2 of those are brilliant. This one's a bit gunky, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my thinners. That's thinners. If I use this in my airbrush more than anything else, a good dose of that in there. And with a cocktail stick, give that a mix and just leave it for a little while, and that will become a usable paint. Yeah, my advice is don't write these pots off when you get them unless they're absolutely bone dry. If the paint's a little gunky, just add a bit of thinners and you'll be surprised at how useful they become. So I've got hundreds of these little pots and I maintain them, look after them. This one obviously I've neglected over time. I don't do a lot of US models, but yeah, it's I think it's a useful resource for the modeler, these little pots, because they're relatively cheap because they come with a Humbrol starter or gift sets, and yeah, they're ideal for little paints like this. Some of them, as I showed on the P40 video, you can even use in your airbrush. So yeah, a little bit of stirring, that's now usable paint. Oh, it's still a bit lumpy, but that will go in time. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Now with any of these paints, what I tend to do is dampen the brush first and then just blot it onto a tissue like that. Get some of the paint onto the brush and then put it onto the blot. This is what I believe is called a wet palette, but it works really well for me. And that sort of gets your brush ready for painting, because what you don't want is really thick paint on these small figures. Now I am painting over the bullets and ammunition belts and whatnot. I'll address those later with a couple of different colours that are not on the box art, but I got in my paint stash. So yeah, I'm just going to paint him this US 117 green, which I hope it is. Oh, wind's got the door. I got the door open because it's one of those days where it's just too nice to shut the door on a shed. Besides, Lucy, my cat, wants to come in and out and say hello. So yeah, and you notice I've only used one brush full at the moment, so it's going on very nicely. Go back to the wet palette and then just continue. As I say, I'm not an expert, but this is what I've found works really, really well with these umbrella pots. Keep your brush wet and it just glides on. And you've just got to keep the paints maintained in your collection. It's a cheap resource. It's really, really good. Right, I'm doing the pilot's parachute gear now, or life jackets, or whatever they are. So I've got my double O brush. I'm going to very slowly just paint in the detail for what I think is the life preserver. Oh my goodness. Even with a magnifier, this is difficult to see. So you just try and pick out the straps and the harnesses and whatnot that are part of this kit. It's really quite difficult, to be fair, especially for someone as clumsy as me. The thing is, the most important thing I've got to remember is I've got to breathe. Because it's quite amusing when you're painting these figures and all of a sudden you start going lightheaded and think so yeah, I thought I'd pick out the straps with a little bit of gentle painting. I'm not going to be too precious about it, but I would like them to look presentable anyway, because this is for my own private collection. It's not going to be gifted to anyone. Oh, way too much there. Okay, that was a mistake, but never mind. We'll just have to put that. Oh, yeah, sometimes it's easier than it looks on the YouTube videos, and believe me, it's not. These pros really do make it look easy, but I suppose that's years and years and years of doing what they do. And so I'm just an amateur, so whatever I'm doing here, take with a pinch of salt. It's up to you. But yeah, this is how I tend to do these figures, and then what I'll try and do is grab a cocktail stick and tidy it all up afterwards by gently scratching away at the top surface of the paint. Oh look, I've made another mark on his arm. Not the best job, I must admit, but I'm sure with a little bit of fat lint, I can probably make that good. You can see there where the paint's slightly different, it went on thinner on that one, so we just tidy that up. And then I'll just get to tidying all these straps up, as I said, with a dampened cocktail stick or pin or something similar, and just see if I can't tidy these straps up. Yeah. Doing, Lucy, is I'm painting these little figures, you see them? Yeah? You're not interested, are you, really? You're just being a pain. Right, I like the lads are all painted. I'm hoping that's acceptable standard. So I'll let all the paints dry, give them a coat of matte varnish, and then I'm going to try and do some oil weathering stuff on them to see if it brings out any further highlights. Parts box and Royal Air Force Bomber Command resupply set. I've got 2 sets of scaffolds, which I think with a little bit of fettling I can make into a double scaffold, which will reach underneath the Liberator's landing gear into the engine. Remember I mentioned that figure who's laying down, this one here. While his varnish dries, I figured I could have him on there working in the engine with perhaps a mate climbing a ladder up to him. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do, is build a scaffold out of these 2 pieces. So my plan is to find the one that's the straightest, which seems to be this one. Straighten these legs out somehow. Cut these short sections off and then glue that together so it reaches the height, because trying to glue these legs together I think will be yeah, nigh impossible. So yeah, I'm going to cut them short and then we're going to have a go at making a scaffold. Yeah, whether I film this or not I don't know. Anyway, let's have a go. So I'm going to cut off there, 1, try and get them the same length so it matches up. That's about right. They look about the same. That one's probably a bit too long actually. With that trim, that's it. Now tidy up the parts. I do like this scaffold because this is obviously during the war period where health and safety wasn't quite as prevalent as it is now. So there's no toe boards, no barriers or hazard tapes, cones, nothing. Yeah, it's, I suppose when you got the Luftwaffe milling around and you're on the D-Day beaches and being shot at 18mm flak guns, 88mm flak guns, I think the last thing on your mind is health and safety when you get home. So yeah, I'm going to try and glue these together now. I think I'm going to use super glue and a cocktail stick. So taking one of my lids from the Chinese takeaways that we enjoy every now and then, a little dab, and what I do is I'm going to try and glue one leg at a time, because I think that'd probably be better. than trying to do all 4 at once. So a little dab of that on there, on that one, and then put that on there, and hope I don't stick myself to the scaffold. So I'm going to carry on doing this, and then we'll see what it looks like when I've got it all stacked together. The last piece of this particular part of the build is to stick my little friendly mechanic onto the scaffold. So a little tiny dab of Revel on there, and then pick him up by his head, and then just drop him into place. And hopefully, without measuring, he'll fit under the Liberator. Time will tell. So there we are, my addition to my Liberator truck scenario diorama. Especially like my little figure on the scaffold. I think he's quite cute. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give us a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode, where I'll complete the entire diorama and likely stick myself to it with super glue. Cheers!